Good day, commanders. Okay, we have quite an advanced gearing guide ahead of us here. It may very well be a long video, so you might want to watch it a couple times because there's definitely a lot of good stuff in here, especially for those of you who don't already know this stuff. It might open up your mind to a whole avenue of new personally formulated tactics for you. And that always feels pretty good when we know exactly what's going on and how to sway things in our favor via re-gearing, knowing the gear sets, so on and so forth. We're going to be going over boss gear, Nightmare 3 and 4, and what kind of gearing you're going to want to be using on your heroes there to get those top chests and just maximize your score in general. We're going to be looking at Abyss gear. We're going to be really looking into healer gear more specifically. And then also Matrix gear. We're going to be going through how I gear my heroes and just to maximize the full potential of your arsenal. Then we're going over arena gear, single target, AoE, anti-air, at least with some of the comps that are viable right now. Just who I use or who I would use and how I would gear them with said comps. And Matrix gear, yeah, big boss Matrix. So we're going to be going over just basically how to min-max the gear and get the best bang for your buck, i.e. exclusive gear and artifacts, stuff like that. What artifacts I believe are best in slot. And you really got to shuffle around the gear in Matrix because unless you're blessed with boundless gear, I mean, I'm not quite. That will help you. It's going to help you just be more efficient in that manner. GVG gear. We're going to be talking what I do for gear and just basically what gear is available to you and what you should do with it, i.e. what are we working with, where I think you should put your refining crystals and your recast hammers, and where I think you should invest that. If you're serious about GVG, get yourself some more defensive ones. Okay, and then the sometimes it's better gear. So there's some arena, there's some tower deception, just some kind of one-off areas where they are best. And there's also some last place or last to alt hero comp scenarios in GVG and arena where certain gear sets are going to be more beneficial, though they may give a little bit less damage over time. And then last but not least, we're going to be going into gear planning and just mind of peace gear plans, just how to gear them so they're there for you when you need it, and you just kind of where everything is, and just organized. And we're going to be going over when to update or overwrite gear plans, how often I think we should be doing it. Varies between how much we're farming, but I think on average we can answer some of those questions. And the BP gear and how to maximize that between your cracked out A-dub and exclusive gear if you may have it. A lot of us are probably starting to get good exclusive, maybe not quads exclusive, but some kind of really nice rolls on something with Rage Regen, Poor Man's Quad, something like that. So we're going to go through all that stuff. So yeah. All right. Where should we begin? Let's begin. Well, let's begin at the beginning. Nightmare 3 and 4. So, Nightmare Boss 3 and 4. I mean, what's the max chest here? 18,000. So, basically, here you're going to want to run anything. You know, the team that I use, I think I just quit it, whatever, but the poison team, if you have the poison team, I mean, a lot of these new heroes, if you have like Numera and Nasal, you're probably going to be able to get the max chest here. So there's not a whole lot of things I'll say about Nightmare 3 other than anything goes. Rage Regen is cool because you can just throw it on auto alt. So if you're trying to do something crazy and get like a couple 100k or whatever it is in the Nightmare 3, try Rage Regen on the poison team, especially Numera. And you can get pretty crazy scores. Maybe even more so than the quads, than the attack full quads. Nightmare 4, kind of the same thing here. If you have a lot of these new heroes, you're going to be getting the... But I run Rage Regen. This is pretty much why I have the nastiest. So Rage Regen. You know, 50-60% is nice. I like 100% if I can, but, you know, other things suffer unless everything else is gold. So, Abyss. Now we're starting to talk about how do we push our score, right? Myself, unfortunately, I'm stuck at about 53k. Amazingly, A5 Nastia I thought would make more of a difference, but I'm having a problem with her dying. But as you can see, I'm using Aelin and Draylin as the main healers. Now, something just came to me the other day. I was thinking maybe I can switch over Dial, or Eloin Snarrow, so that's for another day. Healer gear in Abyss is really important. Now, in this scenario, and I suggest you don't ever use Draylin as your main tank unless you really have to. And if you have, or I think it's her, Draylin, if you have her A1, she'll provide damage boost. So that's where a lot of that damage is coming from. I think I was at maybe 49 or 48 before. Now I'm around 53 with Draylin's A1. So we're using Torador as tank. We're going to be talking about healers, Aelin and Draylin. So we'll go over to the healer, Aelin. So this is her auto-equipped. I would never run her like this. There's not enough HP bonus, and there is not enough attack. You want attack bonus, you want attack speed. She can actually get away with having no rage regen for Abyss. So what I would do, because I have no Wings of Grace, nothing really good. So Invig, we're going to be wanting to look for attack bonus, attack speed, healing effect, and HP bonus. So this one here, really nice piece. That's the one we'll be using. This one here, attack speed, HP bonus, HP, healing effect. Really nice. This one would also work, but obviously we're talking Abyss. We want to take whatever's best here. It's nice we don't have to worry about rage regen. Now there's no flat attack, but that's okay. Last piece, there's only one piece there, right? So we're going to take it. We're going to take it. And then for left side, I like to sometimes, well, in Abyss I use Warlord. We'll just say that. In Abyss I use Warlord. And HP bonus is nice. Attack speed, healing effect. Not a whole lot of healing effect on these weapons. So attack bonus, attack speed. A little bit extra attack speed there. And look at that. We got the HP bonus. That's the piece. Attack bonus, attack speed, attack. Warlord. That's the piece. This one here, you could also use. Brings the attack up a little bit, but the attack speed down. I'll take attack speed over a little bit of attack for Aylin because she scales so well. So, artifacts that I like to use. You can use Euphoric Orb. I like the Taya's Balm, and I've got this one with a little bit more attack speed. Replace. There is Aylin Abyss build. Updated from whatever the best gear I have at the time is. So, yeah, 300% attack, just under 100% healing effect, and 396 attack speed. But you'll see actually 530 with the artifact and everything like that. And then don't forget the Pantheon bonus as well. I wish they would show Pantheon bonus, but what you can do sometimes, okay? So, see how you have 530 attack speed there? This is a nice little tidbit. So your Pantheon bonus, we've got 35 attack speed. So you can always, if you're really trying to min-max, 35 attack speed. So we're going to try to get something with more attack speed. So we'll go Invig, whatever the case might be, attack speed. And so that's not quite 35, but it's close. And you see how we changed there to 0.9? So we go back, attack bonus, attack speed, healing effect. HP bonus. So we'll go back, and even though it's showing 1 second there, it's actually with the Pantheon bonus, it's perfectly 0.9. And that 0.9 is 10%. 10% more healing. That's crazy. That's really, really cool. So you want to min-max, and you want to get it so that attack speed just changes. That's a great way to check it. I wish they would add the Pantheon bonuses here, but they are not. They are not. And I haven't updated my Aylin plan, and we will go over all this stuff as far as plans. Sometimes they don't make it too easy to sort through the plans. But we'll go over all that. So there's the Aylin build. That's how I'd run her for Abyss. She needs the HP to stay alive to the last shield. all that good stuff. Okay, now Draylen. We'll go over how I like to run Draylen. I might even have him saved here. So it's been a while since I've saved Draylen also. So we'll just go through it. I like to run Invig, HP bonus, attack speed. Now, you want the rage regen, but you want all that. You want the rage regen with Draylen because if there's the chance for him to be able to ult again, you want that chance. So, better safe than sorry. And this is especially true in something I didn't say we're going to talk about in APOC 1. So, again, healing effect, a little low, but he's got the attack speed and defense bonus. He's a tank, it'll scale well, perfect. And this one here, more defense bonus, great. And then always Astral Guardian. And I will go with attack speed, HP bonus, healing effect. There's a nice piece there. And unfortunately, nothing there. Probably no attack speed. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Will Lady Luck shine upon us? Not really. Not really. But we can always enhance that. That's a really nice piece for Draylen. Really nice piece. Let's see what happens here. This is something I would recast. Just it's Draylen specific, right? A little bit better. I wouldn't spend too much time on it because you can get better gear on him. Well, not better gear, but you don't really need the crack gear. But I'll take that. That's a really nice Draylen piece. So, and I mean, all this stuff's a work in progress, right? You can always make gear better if you need it. Here's his stats. HP, as long as he's not more than Toro, over 105 is great because he, oh yeah. Artifact I always try to throw on him would be Healing Crest, right? You want a Healing Crest because the less he has to heal himself, less she has to heal herself, the more she will be healing whoever you're trying to use for tank. Unless you're using a Wukong comp, this is it. Attack speed, it's okay. Healing effect is great. Rage regen is good. And like I say, I mean, this is the build that I would be running Draylen. And you might get away with APOC. You might have to... This will work in APOC too. This is a good APOC build. So there's the healers. Again, I will update this because I haven't done it for a while. Save plan. Just like that. Now it's done. It's saved. Don't have to go through that headache again. Not for a couple weeks anyway. Okay. Matrix gear. We're gonna go over Matrix gear in its own segment in this video, but we're gonna do it after we talk about the arena gear. Okay, so arena. I know gold 1. Come on, don't judge me. I'm trying to get down and run the gauntlet. So arena gear. All right. So anti-air. Basically, arena gear, you're going to want to try to just run as many quads as you can. Unless you are... Okay. We'll go anti-air first here. So, a popular anti-air team would be Piercers. Your choice of Lord. Obviously, I'm going to go with Yovar. Lady A. Yuri. Erlang, of course. And Lady Mina. Okay, this is a popular team. So, it's the team that I'm probably going to be using. Normally, I didn't use Lady A. I used the Count or whatnot. So, the first and foremost about anti-air arena gear. If you're using Yuri for defense, I mean, you're going to want to put her in Soulbound Arcana, even though she's going to be doing more damage for you at the beginning. If the arena BP or whatever, it varies, you could face a really weak team. It'll drop the BP to where if she is in Cataclysm, she's going to be doing too much damage, even with her basic attack or with her ult, and she's going to kill that one blue flyer too fast, and the other one's just going to be sitting there. Meanwhile, the other team has done it properly. So, run Yuri in Soulbound Arcana. It's got to be a good Soulbound Arcana to where you're taking out the waves almost as fast as your opponent, because if it's a strong anti-air team and they're using Kata, well, you don't get all the benefits from the auto that you would being the attacker. So that is about that for there. So run Yuri in a Soulbound Arcana set. Clearly here she's not. Just trying to tell you what I would use and why, and then we can go in and kind of show you what I would run. So first place hero, sometimes it's better to put him in Kata. Okay, in Yuri's case, it's better to run her, or sorry, yeah, it's better to run her in Soulbound. Now, Erlang being the second placed hero, okay, and he's going to be the first one to ult. You want him in Cataclysm. So your second placed hero, you want him in Cataclysm because you want him doing that damage right away. So that when the time comes for him to ult, there's no messing around. He's going to be able to do the full potential, because Yuri is not ulting until Yuri needs to ult. And Cataclysm is every time you cast the ult. Hopefully we're all on the same page about that by now. And normally I would just basic attack these guys. Sometimes you can pop ults, but that's how I do it. And then this one, be Yuri. And then your third unit that you're going to place, whoever it may be, I've actually never used Lady A in the arena yet. I just got her a little while back, and now I'm running the gauntlet. So forgive me, but for the third place unit, you're going to want them in Infernal Roar or Cataclysm or Soulbound Arcana. Honestly, it really doesn't matter in this case. And then yeah, so for for this case, I mean, it doesn't really matter what the third and fourth unit is, because everybody is going to be alting, and Lady Mina is just kind of for CC and for damage also, but mostly just CC. So that's about the best advice I have for the arena anti-air. And then obviously, if you have it, you're going to be wanting to run the Star Piercers, even if it's just a poor man's quad over the Inferno Cleric. I'm just min-maxing a little bit so I get that crit rate up. And Erlang wasn't fighting air before, so that's how I would be running my second placed hero, or the Erlang in this case. And you're really going to want to put Yuri in a nice set of Cataclysm, or a nice set of Soulbound Arcana, sorry. Kind of looks like those. Okay. Single target arena. It's so hard to really say, but it's pretty much your first placed hero there. You're gonna want to. I run ESO myself, okay, and I'll run Nastia, Moradin, Numera. I'll run Ireless, and I will run Diao. Okay. For this one, Nastia, luckily Nastia is almost always best in Hell's Lament. So, because the way that I place her last is kind of the same way that Ingrid probably gets placed last. So Ingrid, she's gonna be very gear specific to where you place her and when you use her and how many stacks she has up. So, but the main thing here, Morden would be in Cataclysm. I don't know if he is now, but he would be in Cataclysm. Okay, because you want him to hit right away. Diao is going to be in, she's Inspiration Unit. But Cataclysm for Morden is pretty important because you're going to be racing the clock with a lot of these Strytha comps. And Numera, when I place her up here, I run her in Soulbound Arcana because there's, in Arena, especially single target, there's a lot of breaks and pauses in between the Demon Soldiers coming out. So even though the first couple waves might be a little bit tricky, Numera needs to be in Soulbound Arcana. Okay. And if you're running the Kata, you're going to want Morden to strike a few times before you use his ult. Now, normally I would put out Ireless first, but for all intents and purposes, we're just going to throw out. Now, if I put Nastia out in Soulbound Arcana, It's going to take 5 alts for her to max out. You can put her in Kata if you're blessed with the gear, but honestly, there's so many breaks and pauses. Soulbound Arcana or Hell's Lament. She just works so well in Hell's Lament. It really is crazy. So yeah, first place unit, Kata. Second place unit, Soulbound Arcana. Third place unit, because it's nasty out, we can use Soulbound Arcana or Hell's Lament. Hell's Lament has the ESO exclusive ring, and that's going to allow Nastia to ult more and keep that 30% magic res uptime to 100%, which is really nice, right? Okay, enough of that. And AoE. Okay, AoE, you guys are on your own for AoE. I don't have the A5 Ingrid, but I'll tell you that the placement for AoE is very much like the placement for my single target. Other than when you're bringing out Ingrid at the end, you're going to want her in Infernal Roar or in Cataclysm. Cataclysm, it is such a great set. And AoE, you're hitting a few times before that big Ingrid beam, but she's last place, so you're probably going to want her in Infernal Roar. Any other time, it's Kata or Soulbound, because you get that 10% more. But in AoE, you really got to worry about your Ingrid being last and making sure she can clear those waves. Because once it's an A5 on A5 or A3 on A3 Ingrid fight, it's just a matter who can not leave those last little bit of demon soldiers with that 3% health. Who can push that little 3% health bar down. That being said, we will move on to Matrix gear. So we'll go into Matrix here. Now, this is me here using the ESO team from Bulwark with Cyrus, because he's a champion. And, okay. So, the min-max. Alright. I'll just show you the stats. Now, at the time, my Nora was minimum skilled here, but a really important part of this comp is Ezrith, Valesi, and Vierna, and how I'm able to gear them in order to be able to gear these heroes, especially Dr. Van Helsing, to where they're doing. I also forgot to equip Lady Mina here, so that was a shame. But it allows me to put my best gear on some of these heroes and maximize my score. Because that's, at least if you're trying to push that 130 and you're just a couple awakenings or a little bit of gear, a little bit of whatever the case might be, if you have the heroes that you can use the gears, or if you have some of the same heroes. I can't really talk to heroes that I don't have, otherwise it would be a 3-hour long video and I wouldn't be able to really know what I'm talking about if I don't have these heroes or using the heroes of Matrix. But you might be able to see some similarities with the heroes that I gear and heroes that you use and say, oh, hey, they have kind of the same attributes, or the similarities with their alt, or how their damage scales, or they get attack increase and bonuses, whatever the case might be. You're going to be able to kind of put 2 and 2 together or read between the lines and figure out your own way to min-max. So I'll start with Ezrith and Valesi. Alright, they want to be like that. We'll start with Ezrith and Valesi. So, the thing with Ezrith is he can work in Hell's Lament. More importantly, we'll go to Valesi. Valesi can work in Hell's Lament, and she doesn't need any attack speed, which is great because you can use stuff like this, which has great crit rate, crit damage, little low on the attack, but low attack speed, that's okay because it gives her the 4% increased damage. It allows you to run pieces like this, where there's crit rate, crit damage, attack, and rage regen. Man, she get her rage regen, even though, you know, she has a slow attack speed anyway. Every little bit of rage regen is really cool when you can get these kind of rolls. And it allows you to use the exclusive pieces like this that have no attack speed that would otherwise be no use. Okay? And she in my best Soulbound Arcana gear, I can place her in it, and if she's doing 38 million with this gear, this Hell's Lament gear, she's doing like maybe 42 with the best Soulbound Arcana. Maybe if you have a cracked out, again, Kata is so useful so many places, but if you want to equip everybody in Kata, you're going to need some crazy, I mean, let's forget about it, right? Who nobody has that. Well, I should say some people have that. I do not. So this is what I do. She works great in it. Ezrith, now that we've used the Hell's Lament with no attack speed on Ezrith, we can basically go here and put him in all the best. Now, he doesn't really need, I would rather run him in some attack, and right there, some HP bonus, for being honest. And there's some attack speed. Perfect. So we can run him in stuff like that. See, I got a defense roll there instead of rage regen or flat attack. Flat attack would be nice, but then it would be a super quad. Don't matter. Don't have it. Don't need it. The important thing is we get that 10% again. And then, I mean, obviously you're going to want him in some of your best, right? Or however you're running him. He does get a little boost to crit rate also, so you can do cool things with that. All right. So boom, there we'd have two heroes. Now, Vierna, so cool. She does so well. Like I can't wait until I've got her exclusive maxed out. Okay. But she doesn't need any attack speed at all. So you can run her also with no attack speed. So you get that 10%. And then she has her own bangle. Increase the Reaper's Grasp damage by 100% and the execution threshold by 10%. So she's executing like 30 or 40% HP. So stuff like that, boom. Now you have right Kata for a hero who actually needs those attack speed quads. And then, you know, this is where we would come into maybe kind of an issue, because say you're looking for a Cataclysm. That's about the real only quad I have, other than I got a Boreas. I've got stuff, you know, like this or like this. Right? And attack speed doesn't matter with her. So you could go Kata. You want attack bonus for sure. Crit rate, crit damage, and attack. Oh, crit rate and crit damage. So this piece right here probably wouldn't be the best. But it doesn't really matter. A little bit of HP. HP is good for Matrix. And then you can put her in whatever kind of... I'd probably put her in this Warlord. Get her attack up as much as possible, especially because you've got the... Oh, it is an attack bonus. Oh, that's nice. So yeah, there you go. There's a really cracked out Vienna build that doesn't take a whole lot away from the rest of your team, and and is doing this kind of damage. This kind of damage. So really cool stuff there. Really cool stuff there. Right? Again, she needs no crit, no attack speed on the left side. So you guys want to see that build once more. Oh yeah, and artifact also. So now she doesn't have to take, if you only have one tier of Twilight, 2 tiers of Twilight, this is the best in slot artifact for her. Can't wait till it's maxed out. Yeah. All right. There is pretty much how I would take the heroes that I have, give them the gear that they can work with, and I can still maintain that 60 to 70k score. Ideally, I want 65k on each one. So I needed to put my best gear on Dr. Van Helsing, Ardea, Lady Mina, and Estrid, right? And then, of course, we're running Honora and Valara. Valara, we've just got in basically the best cat gear that I have. And then another thing that you can do, okay? So we'll go to Valara is probably a good hero. So let's just go quick unequip. Okay, so we always start on our right side. We start on our right side, and we want her in Cataclysm. We want her in a nice ESO exclusive. Say this is the best ESO exclusive that we have. That's okay, right? Now we look for amulets. Like, oh, we there is no good amulet. Say we didn't have that amulet. Say we had to run this amulet, right? Because we're using this on another hero. We don't want to bust that other hero's gear up, so we'll use this. No crit rate. Okay, so we got to find out. I like using this one because basic attributes are up by 5%. Plus, I like that rage regen. Okay, but now we've got 50%. So we'll go over here. We'll go crit rate. We'll throw that on. You know, we could probably use that and then figure something else with Ezrith. So there we go. Boom. That gave Valara some HP bonus, which she may or may not need in Matrix. It's good to have any hero with HP bonus. If you can do this with every hero, do it. And the score will show. So we keep all our attributes, right? We got our crit rate. We've got that. HP bonus, nice attack speed. So you can do stuff like that, and that will conserve gear for other heroes. And like we say, Ezrith wasn't really there. He's 100% anyway. No harm done. So that is a good way, and that's actually a better piece of gear. So Ezrith is now stronger for it. Valara is now stronger for it, right? Spread it out for the whole team. Your score will reflect. Another thing I like to do for Matrix, especially with Numera, is I like to run Numera in about 65.5% or whatever. Anything above 50 is great, but with Numera, you get a run left side, all with rage regen instead of crit rate, which is super cool for her kit, because all of her damage comes from the Grithorm spikes, and basically a 50% chance now to do it. And then the rest comes on her alt. So Grithorm spikes, Grithorm roots, Grithorm alts, or her Grithorm spike through her alts is where she's getting 95% of her damage. So that's how I run Numera. If you have her in any of your boss content or wherever, don't really use her in Matrix, so kind of a bad choice there. Well, there's a good Numera guide anyway. Run her like this, she'll do more damage, I promise you. We'll talk about Dr. Van Helsing. The Good Doctor. So we'll give the Good Doctor Numera's gear. Okay. So same kind of thing. You want to try and run whatever you want for your right hand gear, and then your left hand you can always take one or the other. Probably 30% I think would be better, but then you lose that attack speed. So you can go either way about it. You can go like this, and 95.5% crit damage is acceptable. Okay, you don't want to be getting anywhere, you don't want to be getting lower than 90, but anything above like 93 I find works. 95.5, beautiful, right? Anything up from there to 100, I mean, you're going to be able to run 2 runs at it, and you're going to get a higher score and a lower score. Basically, you can just be guaranteed that you'll always be either higher than low or a little bit lower than that highest score that you got. And that will basically allow you to give a better piece of gear to your hero, like this, that has rage regen. Because it's nice, that little bit of rage regen will add up to more ults, which will add up to more damage, I promise you. So there is how I like to gear my Matrix. We're not going to go into the healers and all that kind of stuff, because it's just all the best healing that I have. But this is how I spread my DPS gear around and how I min-max it. And how you can too. We'll go over GVG gear. GVG gear. Okay, so in GVG, you gotta take things into consideration. You need to think about who's gonna ult first, right? So, though this particular setup, this would be a better setup. So here, the first one to ult is going to be Valara. It's hard to say unless I edit, I guess. We'll just show you. We'll just edit. Okay. Yeah, this is the best way to describe it. Okay, so say you had a setup like this. Nazaw here. There. Okay. So basically, when the demon soldiers come down here, I mean, Cyrus is probably going to ult once, right? The demon soldiers are going to come. They're going to get into Valara's. So Valara's going to ult. Maul is going to ult, followed by Naza. So you're going to get minimum 3. Sometimes Carnelian's funny and she'll cast an ult. So you might get 4, and then Naza would be the 5th ult. So you're going to get probably 4 ults before Naza ults. So you can run Naza in this situation in Soulbound Arcana. You can always run Naza in Infernal Roar if you really need to. Okay? But in this situation, you can run her in anything. You can run her in Soulbound. You can run her in Kata. Might even be better in this situation to run her in Soulbound. Unless you have... We're not talking about exclusives here. Okay? When we're talking about this, let's just say it's not exclusive gear. Because that changes a little bit, but not really. So here, you're also going to want to run Valara in Kata because you don't want bombs or whatever getting through. And if they bait bookkeepers, this setup's not really, you're not really worried about. If you had Valara on this tile, like this, okay, you had, so, yeah. Valara's here, you can run Valara in Soulbound Arcana, doesn't really matter, okay? If this setup, say we have... For some reason... Say we have something like that. Okay, in this scenario, the demon soldiers are still going to be proccing Maul and Valara before Naza. So you can still run Naza in Soulbound Arcana, although that first ult, Naza is not going to be full potential. So always keep that in mind. In this scenario, it's probably a little bit better, or Naza will do a little bit better damage through his first ult if he's in Infernal Roar. And in this scenario, you're also going to want to run Valara in Cataclysm, because whatever's coming here, if it's any of the stinkers, or if it's the Garnets, you need Valara to do as much damage as possible, right? Sometimes, I mean, you could run Cyrus like that. You have to worry about the bookkeepers. You want Valara because Valara is the first one to ult. You want Kata so that Valara's doing the most damage, so that bombs or swarms or bookkeepers, stuff like that, aren't gonna get through, or LGs. You just want Valara doing as much damage at first, as quickly as possible. Okay. Wow, if you guys made it this far, thank you. And I hope this helps. But we're not done quite yet. We are going to talk about... What else about GVG gear can I really say here? Nastia, almost always better in Hell's Lament, but we've went over that. Okay, gear plans. Gear plans. We're going to talk about gear plans here. Alright. So, gear plans can make your life so much easier. So much easier. And I like to make gear plans for BP, for GVG, for Abyss, And sometimes for Matrix, if I'm not sure, if I'm trying to use like different Northerner comps. So we'll go into the BP gear first. So recently I went around and I unequipped all my heroes, and then I went and I auto equipped them, and to my surprise the auto equip is actually functioning now, where it takes into effect of what stats work better with each hero. So I was able to get my A1 Ezreath to 118 or 119, and still had heroes below that, 115, 116. So, but I'm blessed with a lot of A-dub gear, right? Ageless Wrath. So I can almost get around to it, but away with it, sorry. What I was doing before, and what you might be better off doing, is finding gear, like, even though it's a poor man's, well, it's not a poor man's quad. Oh, that's for Setram. So yeah, Setram, good exclusive gear. Plus I have his exclusive gear. That frees up a whole lot of exclusive and a whole lot of Ageless Wrath gear for other heroes, and it puts him at about 120. And then Nastia, because that rage regen's a gold roll, I mean, I wish it was attack, but you can put her in that, and as long as your other rolls are decent, I mean, it's basically just putting, it's just giving you that much more, because I mean, I had 9 pieces of good gear for Ageless Wrath, but after that they start to kind of fall off. So Yovar, Ingrid, and Ezreath are going to be getting my Ageless Wrath. So you can see that even though Nastia is a little bit better in Ageless Wrath instead of the exclusive gear, if I were to give Nastia this gear, she'd be 117, but my Ezreath is actually 119 in that gear. So give and take a little bit when it comes to the BP gear, but that is one thing that I recommend that you save. And I also recommend that I'd say once every week or two, you go, if you're farming, you go back through, and if not, once a month for sure, you go back and you just re-optimize everything. I also like to go with Abyss, where Draylin, Aelin, Eloin, stuff like that. A lot of these, once a month I go through and delete, but this was a cool one, Toro. That was for him to run as like a DPS tank, so I had that. That kind of like odd stuff that you make, you can create, and you can just save it and go back every once in a while. Matrix, only if you're changing between factions, and I would save a whole faction gear, but it's never usually good for long. So yeah, that is about it. I know that was a lot of information. I hope it helps a lot of you out there. Yeah, maybe it'll even open your mind up to all these different combinations and stuff that you can do. Oh, I will also mention this little fun fact. So heroes that have a high normal attack, like Valara, for example, you can run her. Okay, you can run her in stuff like Hell's Lament with an ESO exclusive, in things like Gear Dungeon, where you're using Valk at the top. If you don't have Cultist for the bottom, as long as it's just Valara alting and you don't have to worry about her basic attack after that, you can use Valara or Ardea. Maybe not Ardea, but you can use heroes if they're only ulting with Hell's Lament. It's even if it feels like you shouldn't, Vlara can do some pretty good damage. Okay, that's it. That's all. That's all I got for you. Okay. Yeah, as always, you stayed till the end. I appreciate your time. Hope it helps.